Welcome back to another episode of TVGP's We Roguelike It. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Hi.
We're here for week 2 of Returnal, who is... I like this title until I say it every time. They go, Returnal. It has a weird mouthfeel.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right.
So, ironically enough, I was actually talking about that this week, how it's got a really bad mouthfeel. Like, literally, that's how we described saying the name of the game.
Yeah, just a real... It's the polar opposite of cellar door. Just Returnal. Yeah. All right, how has Returnal treated you this week, Moon?
Uh, the little I've managed to play it, it was okay. I spent this week trying to rope other people into paying and buying this game so we could play it together.
Okay.
Which, because I'm part of the Steam friends and family library thing,
Oh, right.
I meant everybody in the family, quote unquote, wink, could play. It also meant nobody could play it while I was playing it.
Ah, that's the rub. Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there was a fair bit of I'm gonna do like a bit of time playing this, and then friend of the show Rob tried it out. Not a fan.
Mhm.
Friend of the show Justin started playing it after Friday, after Lethal Company night. Well, the jury's out on that decision so far.
Okay.
Do do I talk now about the horror show of my PlayStation 4 control? Sorry, my PlayStation 5 controller.
Configuring the DualSense.
Yes.
And
So
sure. Go
okay.
ahead.
So yeah, configuring it was actually surprisingly easy once I got like the drivers and everything updated. Like,
Mhm.
especially because it's a PlayStation 5 exclusive game on consoles. So it actually was like, hey, you're using a DualSense. Good job. Fixed. Done. Everything's
Oh,
all set.
nice. That's
It was
great.
great. I literally plugged it in. It's like, cool, you're using a DualSense. We got all these cool features just for you.
It's rubbing its
Uh,
hands together like, oh yeah, let's get that rumble.
why does my PC default to outputting the game sound through the controller
Oh
as soon
my
as I
god.
plug it in?
It's Windows is the worst about this controller. I eventually had to go in and just
I
disable
had
both of them.
I unplugged it
Yeah.
because it literally I loaded up Lethal Company. I was like, what? Why can't I hear the game? What's going on?
And everyone's like, why is
I
he at
need
the end of a tunnel? What is happening here? Yeah, it's
yeah, it was because it defaults to it. And Nip
it's
was like, dude, just unplug it. So I
it's
did.
the dumbest thing. Like I get what Windows is trying to do because it's like, hey, this thing has a speaker and a microphone in it at the same time. You
Uh-huh.
probably want to use this. It's probably a headset, right? And it's like, no,
No,
stop it.
it's
Hit,
not.
hit it with a newspaper.
It, it's 100% no.
Yeah.
Um, Now obviously your mileage is going to vary in this, and based on how little people talk about it anymore, I think the mileage is definitely not great on it. Check
Hmm.
out the Pacific Drive Game Club episode for more on this specific function. Because guess what else is a PlayStation 5 exclusive, dude?
Hmm.
Pacific Drive,
Oh, sure. Right.
which means that I'm using the controller that the game is designed for.
Oh, okay. Look at that.
So I'm
Everything's coming
playing
together.
two PC games at the moment that are PlayStation 5
There
console
you go.
exclusives, and both have built-in DualSense
Nice.
functionality.
Well, here's
Um,
my big question for you though, is historically the
so I
DualShock.
know what you're gonna ask. I
Yeah.
haven't put enough straight time into it yet. I haven't
Okay.
sat down and done like a 3 hour session and then
Sure.
walked away like this
Right,
with my hands
with
stuck
claw
in
hands.
claws.
So for anyone that's maybe hasn't been listening to any of the shows for all, Moon historically has had some
I
difficulties.
have severe arthritis in my
Yeah,
hands,
and
and
the
I
PlayStation
have these
controllers.
funky gloves that I
Yeah.
use whenever I'm at work, or I have basically it's the like the elastic type material that you put on like your knees and ankles.
Hmm.
Compression, that's the word I'm looking for. I have compression gloves that I have for my hands. So if I'm ever doing something at the PC for a while, or if I'm ever like if I'm at work, I have two sets at work because I
Right.
consistently
Your
break them.
repetitive motions.
So it helps with my arthritis.
Right.
It also limits my. I don't like to use them while I'm gaming because it limits my flexibility and my like range of motion a little bit.
Sure.
But that arthritis in the past, when I have my PlayStation 4, I have a little dongle that I use my Xbox controller to play my PlayStation 4 with,
Right.
because the position of the sticks, with them both being asymmetrical and down, really messes with my arthritis, and particularly my left hand is the worst of the two hands.
Right.
So I think that's one of the reasons why the 360 and the now Xbox overall design is easier, because my left hand doesn't have to go as far.
Yeah,
My
you
right
have to
hand is
reach
still
across the
okay.
controller. Right.
Yeah, but that has caused issues in the past, specifically when I'm sitting down and playing for a long extended period of time. I will literally, as soon as I'm done playing, I'll be like, oh no, I'm in agony now. Where is my painkillers?
Right.
I need them, please.
Well, hopefully you at least got long enough to play Returnal and get the kind of, what I like when you wake up on the beginning of a new run and it's always raining, so you get the little pitter patters on the controller.
So I haven't had that yet. I continued my run from previously. I only did a little bit, if I'm honest. Managed to make a little bit of headway in starting to understand the map. Is a little. It's not hard, but like remembering to open it and check, because I was like, I'm at a dead end. What am I supposed to do at this dead end? It's like, oh no, there's 2 X's back there that you haven't gone through yet, dude. Like maybe go check those out.
Right.
I like the fact that the doors are different shaped depending on what they have in them as well.
Yeah.
Like there's a triangle door, a square door. I think there's another type of door.
Yeah.
I still can't get into the oldest house. I mean the house in question.
Yeah, you'll for anyone that is maybe just starting out with this game, the keys to the door are usually a couple of rooms past the house, and then you'll be able to pick them up and then go back to the house. Go ahead.
I was going to say, how did your abandoning the company go? Because
well, I'll get there.
You ditched the company for a specific reason.
Right. I'll get there in a minute. But the thing that I don't know if I remembered from when I played this the first time, that the triangle blue doors are side paths, and then the square kind of greenish bluish doors are the main paths. And I don't think I realized that the first time through, because I'm going through every single room as it is anyway. But I appreciate this time now of like, okay, I get this room, there's 4 paths out of here, 3 of them are blue doors, the triangle doors. I'm going to go look at those first, because those aren't going to lead me to the boss or to the next level or whatever. My progress this week is I finished the game. I forgot that.
That was quick, dude.
Yeah, so I forgot. I'm trying to talk around the setup for this game, because how this game functions at a fundamental level is kind of a big spoiler for the story. But I finished Act 1, which is where you're at, which I think is the hard part of the game. And like when I played this game the first time, blew through Act 2 with really no problem. I have a lot to say about Act 2, but I will save that until you make it deeper into the game.
Yeah, because I know there's biomes. I know
Correct.
like the first biome is also supposedly the darkest and the most annoying of them all.
Yeah.
And from what I understand, you get different biomes, but basically you only have to do 3, I think, to complete the run. Is that correct?
Sure. That's a pretty big spoiler.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm very interested in that, because I'm looking forward to something that's not this super dark and hard to read forest. And also I can't pull it up right now, but I did totally get a 64-foot HDMI cable.
Oh, nice.
So I'm debating just plugging it into the back of this thing and plugging it into that television over there.
That's right. Getting comfy.
Seeing how things go.
Yeah. Yeah, the second area especially is the polar opposite of the first one, in a way
Uh-huh.
that I think makes that area a lot more readable, and kind of a lot easier to see. Um, I didn't platinum this game when it first came out, even though I got to the end, largely because it seemed like there were some progression bugs when this game first came out. You may have seen them in the game. There's these little like red glyphs on the wall that you can walk up to and collect, and it'll translate
Yes,
those
I
things.
just started collecting those this week.
So when the game originally came out,
That's the language, correct? Like you,
yeah, they call them
it's
like xenociphers or something like that.
yeah.
Xenoglyphs is what they call them. Now I remember. Um, when the game came out, there seemed to be either a lot of misunderstandings about how and when those spawn, or there were some bugs that have prevented them from spawning. Um, so now that I have finished Act 2, I'm into Act 3, which I didn't complete the original time around because, number one, I didn't want to do it, for like super spoiler reasons. Um, but I didn't want to go through and get the additional trophies that are for collecting everything in each biome. And
Okay.
everything is basically like do a secret room, which you might have done where you like fall through the floor and you do like the map
I did a
doesn't
couple
work.
of those so
Yeah.
far. It's not great.
Yeah, they can sometimes they just have a couple weapons in them, sometimes they have a super boss in them, which is not.
Definitely had the latter of the two so far.
Yeah, those are real rough. You need to find all of the like scout logs that are around, the little audio logs,
Uh-huh.
and you need to get all of the xenoglyph cipher things. So I'm only one scout log away from completing the first areas one. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm doing pretty okay on the rest of the areas. Maybe I'll try it this time. We'll see. I'd like to see the actual ending of this game because I think I saw
Uh-huh.
it before, but I don't 100% remember. Um, but what I did do this week is my good friend Bill Sifford and I tried out the co-op mode, because both of
Yep.
us have it on PS5.
I
Uh,
tried and failed. You
yeah,
apparently succeeded.
yeah. Well, we played co-op. We did not
Oh,
succeed in a run.
oh, oh.
um,
Well, yes, that's what I
yeah,
mean.
I was really I was really happy with how well this worked. So when you start a run, you're looking at that first doorway you go into when you're standing next to Helios, there's that thing on the left hand side that you feed ether into that unlocks new items. And then there's a giant white orb on the right side. That's the co-op thing. Essentially
Uh-huh.
just walk up to that. You say like, hey, I want to host a public lobby, I want to host a private lobby, I want to do something else. I don't remember what the third option is.
You want to
So
join because you can
yes, right.
host and gain game progress, or you can join and gain scout progress.
Right, which we'll get
But
to in a second.
the it's flip reversed. So if you host, you don't get scout progress. If you join, you don't
Correct.
get story progress.
Correct. So I hosted a game, and as soon as I did that, I hosted a private game. It said, all right, it popped up the PS5's friends menu. I picked Bill. It invited him. He hopped right in my game. Two Celines were running around, and we just got on our way. And shockingly, it works really well. There was some confusion at the beginning because Bill was getting messages about the co-op mode and how it works, and I
And you
wasn't.
would.
Right. Because he was trying to tutorialize him on the scout rank thing, which you just explained of like, he got scout rank because he was joining my game. And it seems like for every scout rank you earn, you get an ether, I think, which is pretty generous. I think we ended up after like an hour and a half play session, him at like scout rank 7 or 8, I think it was. So that was pretty good. But I wasn't getting any of those. So like he was getting messages about like, hey, the host is getting further away from you. We're just gonna teleport you right to them. Here we go. And all of a sudden, like Bill is right on top of me. I was, oh, hey, okay. And nothing is shared between the two players. So everything that drops, one person needs to pick it up.
Okay, so hold on. Does everyone get one drop each, or is it
No.
one drop and you have to figure? Oh,
yeah. So it's like old like Streets of Rage. Like both of us have low health. There's a barrel chicken here on the ground. Which one of us gets it? Like there's a weapon that dropped. Which one of us is gonna get it? Which a lot of that I feel like just kind of came naturally. Of like my health is red and flashing. You have a full health bar. I'm just gonna pick up the health. Or like which of us has more pips towards upgrading our health? All right, you need to get the Silphium that upgrades your health because you're closer to it. And same with weapons of like, I'm okay with the weapon I'm using right now. You can pick up this carbine. There was an interesting thing though. If I opened a chest and found a weapon, I could both of us could pick it up, but the person that didn't open the chest was able to re-roll the perks on the weapon for themselves, which was kind of interesting. The only things we did share were the obolites, the like yellow money things. They dropped on the screen for both of us, and we could both pick those up, which seems to be the most fair thing. And it worked super, super well. I think the only thing that caught us off guard that makes a lot of sense, though, is that everything has way more health when you're playing co-op. Because we were chewing through that first area pretty well, and we were just like, yeah, man, I picked up a data cube. Let's go fight the boss, and I can dunk the data cube in the thing at the end, and we'll do that. And that boss worked us. Like, I can fight that first boss in my sleep, and that thing had a ton of health, and we weren't just like using the starter pistol thing. Like we had some pretty good weapons on us. So
you think it's scaled for two?
It really felt like it, because I think once we fought that and we started fighting in some of the later areas, we were fighting some of that stuff, and we're both like plugging tons of bullets into enemies, and they were still kind of continuing to come at us. So that it felt fair. It wasn't one of those things where it's like, these enemies are impossible to defeat. It's also really weird seeing an enemy attack another person and not just you, where like one person accidentally pulls aggro, and you're like, well, now I just get to plug bullets into this mini boss that's floating in the air. This is pretty cool. But I was really impressed with how well it worked. I was expecting it to be a little bit awkward, but it was just, hey, here's the game, and now there's two people playing it together, which seemed super cool. The only thing I was bummed out about is after we did maybe about a run or two, I wanted to check out the Tower of Sisyphus, which is that additional like endless challenge mode thing they added.
Good name. Like, can we give him credit for a very good name for Infinite?
The tower looks terrifying, and it's like in the background of the first area too the whole time. But when we went up to there, it said not available in co-op. I was like, all right. Seemed like it would have been a cool thing, but I'll have to try. I haven't tried that yet, so I don't know what the deal with it is. So I'll probably be trying that out this week just to give it a shot. But again, really impressed. I was expecting that to be just kind of like a, games will add like roguelike modes or co-op modes or like play with a friend, and they just kind of never work out right because they weren't designed for it. But this felt like a pretty good kind of middle ground for this game. So
yeah.
Returnal's great. I'm still having a lot of fun. I was telling Bill about it. We on this show.
How much experience does Bill have with it? Like, has he played it at all? Or?
Yeah, he's played it and beat it. I don't think he has the platinum either. But he did a couple of runs this week before we co-opted, just of like, how do I play this game again?
Yeah, warm up.
Yeah, so it felt pretty good. I felt like we were kind of on the same skill level, which was pretty nice. But if anyone's listened to the show before, I think we tend to prefer roguelikes that are either pausable or kind of light lifting, or shorter runs versus something that's like Enter the Gungeon or Isaac, where it's like, all right, you're tucking in for a 90-minute run.
We like them, but
Yeah,
it's also 2024, and modern day society means that none of us have any spare time.
right. And
Yay, capitalism!
yay! And that's kind of what I was telling Bill, is like, I think this is one of the few games where I really like a long run in this, because I like that ebb and flow of action where you clear out a room, you clear out a couple of waves, maybe you fight like a mini boss, and then you're spending the next couple of minutes picking everything up off the floor in this room. You're going through a bunch of side rooms, you're kind of doing a bunch of side activities, then you get to another big room and you fight another couple waves. I like that flow of it's not all like every room is 4 waves of enemies and a giant tentacle gorilla mini boss. I like that there's this kind of up and down with that. So I think that helps me in Returnal quite a bit. So Returnal's great. All right, any final thoughts here for week 2 of Returnal?
No, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, my schedule eases a little bit this week.
Right.
He says with a laugh. And I'm hoping to have some. It's the classic thing. It's the reason why I play games on my Xbox a lot, is because on my couch, because I do a minimum of 9-10 hour shifts every day.
Right.
I don't want to come home and sit to another PC.
Right. Exactly. You wanna sit on that comfy couch. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you next run. Bye.
Bye.